Hey everyone, and welcome back to another M1 Finance update. Now, I'm going to take you guys into the M1 Finance portfolio. We're going to go over some stuff as well as buy a new stock today. So, if you haven't been following along, every week I typically will add a new fund into the account, sometimes based off of what you guys recommend in the comments, as well as, the things that I've been actually researching. So, let's hop into the M1 Finance portfolio here, of course, and kind of go over some stuff. So we actually have the total value now at $190.14. I know it's not a lot, but we are slowly growing here. On the day, it's obviously super tiny. It's only 4% growth. But if we go to the week has been really nice in comparison to the week prior. So we're actually up $5.93, which is a gain of $3 or 3.22%. I don't know why I keep saying dollar amounts there, but that's good because like I mentioned, last week was a little rough. And then if we go to the month, of course, it's still down a little bit. The quarter is a lot better at $4.53. And then the year is much better at $10.19 on our gains. And then our total return is 7.82%. So that's really exciting, especially with the market not doing so well this last week prior. Which is actually a good thing when it comes to wanting to buy into companies or into more of your funds, because it's usually at a discounted price. At least that's the way I see it. But overall, pretty happy with this. We'll see how it goes in the future overall. But if you by chance missed the first two episodes here in the series, quick rundown here is we ended up getting some funds right here, which was Disney. Right over here. I'm gonna do it like a nice circle here. So we added 5% of our total fund into Disney, and then the week after that we got New Residential Investment, which is ticker number NRZ, and that was also 5% as well. So those were the two newest funds we had added into the account. We already had Microsoft, Tesla, and our Vanguard S&P 500, which is helping with the risk management as we're building this portfolio. I don't know exactly where all of it's going to go when it comes to building this portfolio, but I think this is the cool part because you guys can kind of follow along with me on the journey of where I'm taking this. If you by chance don't have M1 Finance, you could either click the share this pie link that I'll have in the show notes, or the top link, which is my M1 Finance referral link, which does help support me. So just keep a heads up on that if you guys want to open up your own M1 Finance portfolio and kind of get started with this stuff as well. Now, as I mentioned, we're going to be getting a new stock here today as well. Trying to figure out right now, because if I zoom in down here, I want to be obviously pretty versatile, right? Like I don't want to just kind of get from all the same sectors over and over again. Oh, I cut off NRZ. But I want to, of course, kind of diversify a little bit into different markets. I have a few different funds I really want to get into. I have another REIT that I want to get as well, but I just got NRZ, so I want to give it a little bit of time. So that way my sectors are not coinciding too quickly together. So we'll kind of go in that route. But let me know in the comments down below. I actually do like to read your guys' suggestions if you guys have any funds that you want me to look into and kind of get an idea for. I use a site called Seeking Alpha to be able to get a lot of insight on the dividend growth and just the funds in general, where the company's going, because that's the tough part of doing dividend investing, is constantly knowing a lot about a ton of companies. But for me, I'm just kind of making sure that I stick to what I know. And then as I grow, as you guys, tell me more things that I need to learn and experience, and I shared some other things with you guys, hopefully that means some great growth over time on the actual account, which would be really nice. Of course, having a goal of, creating these dividends so that way we can get more money every single month, which would be the goal, of course. Okay, so, oops, I'm like putting little dots here on the screen because I do not have access to my little marker for some reason. There we go. All right, so I want to go over really quick what the last $10 did when it came to the deposit, just so you guys can kind of get an idea. If you have M1 Finance, you obviously kind of know this already, but I get really excited to look into this. So let me know in the comments too if you guys have M1 Finance and like seeing kind of how all your money gets broken up into each fund. But this is what I do. I go into this area, which was, in case you missed it, let me actually go back all the way. So I click on activities here at the top, click on my most recent deposit, and then what I'll do is I'll go over here. Of course, you can see the $10 was added from the deposit, and then right here where it says trades, it buys into 4 funds. And I'll kind of zoom down here a little bit. So now what this is saying is that when I put in that $10, 25 cents went into Disney. That bought, a little bit of shares in the Disney. 51 cents went into Microsoft. $9.11 went into the new residential investment, which was the newest fund we added last week, if you guys recall. And then 12 more cents went into Tesla. I do plan on adding more down the road as the portfolio starts building. I do want to start adding more every week. Maybe start bumping it up to $20 soon, especially as I gain more funds in the account. Less and less are going to go into each one if I keep it at $10. So eventually the goal will be to increase it maybe to $20 every single week, or $30, and then kind of go from there. And that helps with the momentum, because I kind of mentioned it before in the first one, where it can be really tough to get into investing. So that's what I love about M1 Finance is I can start with $100, which is that minimum to start up the account. And then if I'm just doing $10, I'm at least having some impact. And then that kind of gets me, toes in the water. And then I keep going forward and then adding more and more as I feel more comfortable. Like I said, I've invested before, so I could start adding more quickly, but I just want to kind of take my time with this stuff, show you guys the journey as well, because I know some people like to watch this, journey unfold and see where it goes. Because I think it'd be really cool if in, a year from now, we can see where this fund is, and you guys can, kind of trace back where we started, which is really cool to me personally. So we're going to go ahead and add our new fund today. And then of course, add in 10 more bucks into our overall account. So this week, after doing some research on Seeking Alpha, I have decided to go with, I'm actually surprised that they're not like right here on the front end, but I know for sure they're not on the first page. Interesting. I could just search them if I wanted to, but there they are. So this is going to be AT&T, ticker number T. So if you're not familiar with AT&T, that would be very strange. But as far as their funds go, let me bring up Seeking Alpha here and show you guys. So the web page might look a little off here for a second because of the way I place everything. So right here, you can actually see that they've had dividend growth for over 35 years. So that is amazing, consistency on that front. They are currently paying out $2.04 for that, which gives them a yield of 6.39%. So that equates to about 51 cents every single quarter, because that's when they pay out their dividends. So that's the company I want to get into today. It's a telecommunications company, so it helps diversify my portfolio just a little bit more, which, as I mentioned, is kind of the goal. It had an interesting day a little bit here. It was up by 18 cents. I think, where were we at for the year on this one? So if we look at the year, it started at $34.35 from last year, from the day of today. The high, I think, was $34.11. So we're kind of close to the top here, which is not always the best thing to do. It's like buying at the very top. I mean, at one point it was as low as $27, which would have been really nice to get into. But I'm investing for the long term, and that's really important to note because, for me, I'm going to be investing in these companies for a long time. So I want to make sure that, I'm okay with the price that they're at, knowing that they're either going to continue to go up and pay out those dividends, which I trust AT&T is going to do so, because they definitely have a lot going on with their company. So I feel comfortable adding them in. So we're going to go ahead and add AT&T here. On here. Oh, and speaking of AT&T, I believe it was JC3 Teacher who actually mentioned that they have AT&T in their portfolio as well, which actually got me more interested in looking at it again. I knew I was going to want to add, one of the telecommunications companies, and I definitely think AT&T was one of the top when it comes to adding them in there. So thanks again, JC3 Teacher, for mentioning that in the comments. If you guys want to mention anything in the comments as far as funds to look into, let me know down below. If you guys have AT&T, let me know what you guys think of the fund as well. Really would like to hear from you guys in the comments. I actually love going through the comments when these videos come out, to hear from you guys. Any insight always is beneficial. I can always keep on learning, whether I do something, completely incorrect and you guys kind of veer me towards the right path, or you guys encourage me to continue going on certain paths. That will help a lot too, because I think that's the great thing about building these communities in, investing or any other means, is that we can continue to learn. So I'm going to put that AT&T at that 5% like everything else. And I'm gonna go ahead and take the Vanguard VOO and drop it down another 5%. So as you saw before, we are constantly taking a little bit away from the S&P 500 fund, but not technically wiping it away. We're still gonna eventually get more money into that account once we start adding more money. So now we're adding more funds into the account. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual funds now, and then we're gonna be having a full, ETF in there. So I feel that is pretty good so far. And of course, we're going to keep on growing. So let's confirm this right here. And then we're going to go ahead and add $10 more into the fund, which I believe AT&T will also get a majority of it, just like we have been doing so far every single week. All right, so now that we added the AT&T into the actual portfolio, now we want to deposit some extra money in the account. So that way that $10 that we're going to be adding can get diversified into these different funds. So let's go ahead and click on deposit, and we're going to add $10 into this account. So we're going to have that deposited there. All right, so now that we have the $10 coming in to be deposited, that is going to get put into our account. And because we have auto invest on right over here, it's gonna go ahead and just deposit that money into the funds, because it's gonna be over 10 bucks. If we deposited anything less than 10 bucks, we would have to do that all manually. So we're gonna go ahead and just let that roll through. And hopefully by the time you guys watch this, that 10 bucks will be into the M1 account and then dispersed into the funds, which will most likely be AT&T and then a little bit of everything else. And I'll show you guys that next week as we continue on. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the portfolio so far. As I mentioned, I'll have a link to the pie down below if you want to follow along through that, or if you want to just sign up for M1 Finance, that will also be in the show notes down below. And yes, I do get compensated for that, but that does help support the channel and me continuing to make more videos like this. If you want to keep on watching more content here on the channel, go ahead and click on the video right over here so you can keep on watching. If you made it this far, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below, and I'll see you in the next video.